Can a banana really go extinct?
Find out next on Junk Feud.
Aw, yeah! Welcome to Junk Feud, the podcast about junk food, where we rate and review mystery treats to determine which one will be the undisputed champion of snacks. I'm your host, Mike. Alongside me, as always, Alyssa.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Liz.
Bow, bow, bow. Guess what?
What?
Did you know that it's your birthday?
Yeah, I knew that. Sure.
So, you're not necessarily old. You're just classic.
I'm not... Oh, come on. Do you know what a backhanded compliment is, Alyssa?
It's when they compliment you, but it's still bad.
Yeah, so telling me I'm classic, but not old?
Yeah.
Bit of a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
And also...
Happy birthday!
Thank you, dear. A dad joke, a joke you tell to your dad. If you'd like to submit a dad joke for Alyssa to tell me on the show, you can send it in to us via Twitter at JunkFeudPod or via email to junkfeudpod@gmail.com. Lists.
Dad.
Welcome back once again to the world's yeetest podcast. And like you said, today's my birthday.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? It's our birthday show.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Listen, one of the nice things about having a birthday around the holidays is that it comes, at least for me, in that week between Christmas and New Year's when everybody is decompressing from the holidays already.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice, easy week. I never have to work. I never had to go to school on my birthday.
Well, I never had to go to school on your birthday.
That's right. So far.
I don't know. Yeah, we're off, right?
Yeah, for sure. We are off right now, today.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, Liz, that was the time that you got to play with all of the new toys that you got for Christmas. Or, when you got a little bit older, to master all of the new video games that you got for Christmas.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I remember very fondly the year that we got a Sega Genesis from Santa Claus, sitting in our playroom, playing Sonic the Hedgehog for like hours and hours. Every time I hear the music from Stage 1, the Green Hill Zone, I get very nostalgic for that era, for that time in my life. It sort of brings me back.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then like I told you before, the absolute revelation of Super Mario 64, the year that we got a Nintendo 64 for Christmas.
Yeah.
And that was the most fun kind of stuff that we would do right after Christmas, in that little week between Christmas and New Year's, when nobody had anything to do and everybody was kind of winding down from all of the parties and all of the feasts and all of the gift giving and presents and all of that commotion that comes with the holidays. It was a nice little respite from all of the to-do of Christmas.
What did you get for your birthday and Christmas last year?
My birthday and Christmas last year. You know what? I have no idea.
I got you a video game.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
what
one
was
was it? It was like, Under the Sea. Was that it?
Oh, Subnautica Below Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, Subnautica was one of the finest games I've ever played. Below Zero, the sequel to it, was also very, very excellent. Those are like underwater survival world building kind of games. They're very, very good.
Yeah, they're very, realistic.
There's one that I'm looking forward to this year, which is a game that I've been playing for a few years now. It's called The Long Dark, but there's an expansion pack that's coming for The Long Dark, and that's going to be released on consoles sometime in the new year that's coming up. But I'm very excited for that. I'm anticipating it quite a bit.
You and your PlayStation.
You know, there's some other things, some other customs that I've discovered now that I can do after Christmas. And interestingly enough, these are mostly centered around British traditions, Alyssa, which, as an aside, a lot of what we consider traditional Christmas customs now are based on things that were in Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. So it sort of makes a lot of sense that now there's like an Anglophilic angle to the Yuletide time.
Oh.
Yeah, so I like to watch a thing called the Festive Fixtures list. Do you know what the Festive Fixtures is?
No.
Festive Fixtures is a week worth of Premier League soccer matches. They're broadcast on the days just after Christmas. Those are a lot of fun. Last year when Grandma and Grandpa were here, Grandpa would get up early and watch those with me. He had no interest in them whatsoever, had no idea what was going on. But you know what? Really, neither did I. It's just a nice thing to get up early in the morning at like 7 a.m. and have live sports on television.
Yeah, but I wasn't able to watch any of that.
No, you were sick and in bed for the week after Christmas.
Because it was COVID miss.
Yeah, COVID miss 2021, I think.
We were going into 2022.
Yeah, that's right.
Now we're going out of 20. Whoa, that year went by quick.
Yeah, this year kind of went by pretty fast, and I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Liz, one of the things that I discovered about the Premier League in the past few years is that it was sort of like, I think I used this word already, but it was a respite from screaming children when you and your brother were kind of young, and you would wake up early on the weekend, so I was conditioned to be up early on a Saturday or a Sunday morning anyway.
I slept through the night, though.
Yeah,
I was a good baby.
You guys are both very good sleepers. We were super happy with that. Some of my friends have children that are old and still do not sleep through the night, and they're constantly trying to catch up on sleep debt that their bodies are owed, and it's a bad situation.
Yeah.
But for me, it was really nice. I was going to be awake anyway, so I would come downstairs at like 7 o'clock in the morning, slap on the slippers, make a cup of tea, and then be soothed by like the rhythmic action of the soccer ball bouncing back and forth and the lilting British voices on the commentary. And there are no commercials for soccer because the clock doesn't stop. You can't miss any of the action. So it's a nice, uninterrupted piece of sport early in the morning.
Yeah. Me and Chase sleep really late, though.
Yeah, you guys definitely are not up for the early game for the Premier League, especially not for the festive fixtures, because I have a feeling that you guys are going to be up late all of this vacation season.
Yeah.
For sure. And you know what? Another thing that your Uncle Matt introduced me to is a thing called the Big Fat Quiz of the Year. Have you ever seen that, Alyssa?
No.
The Big Fat Quiz of the Year is a British quiz show. It's like a panel-style pub quiz. There are these mostly UK-based comedians and television personalities. They answer trivia questions that are posed to them by this guy named Jimmy Carr. He's the quiz master. Jimmy Carr is famous for not paying his tax and laughing backwards.
Does he go like, ah ha ha ha?
Sort of. He goes like, Yeah, he sounds kind of like a seal almost. Oh, that's loud. You are redlining the recorder there.
Wait, can I do my dolphin voice?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Oh, I'm going to have to turn that down or edit it out. That was brutal.
No, it wasn't.
We talked about the festive fixtures, the Big Fat Quiz of the Year, the video games, the best part of the week after Christmas. We already kind of highlighted this right at the top. It's my birthday, and of course today is my birthday. Happy birthday to me. I am an old fart, as you would say.
Yep.
That's right.
An old fart.
Quick chat about birthdays and birthday food, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Are you a cake person or a pie person? We've brought this up on the show before.
For people that know me, they know that I hate cake.
Ugh.
I think it's just disgusting.
See, I like cake just fine, but of course I am a pie person at heart. Every year, your mother makes me a banana cream pie on my birthday. Before I met your mom, my mom used to make a banana cream pie for me on my birthday. And before that, we learned the recipe for the banana cream pie from her mom, my grandma. And it's not anything that's fancy or upscale. It's like a mid-century prepared foods recipe that probably they got out of a magazine or on the back of a box somewhere. But it is our recipe. And Alyssa, it is my favorite food on earth.
Whoa.
Yeah. And guess what?
What?
That reminds me of this week's snack.
This week's snack on Junk Feud, banana cream pie.
Alyssa, up next on Junk Feud. I'm so excited about this. It's banana cream pie. Alyssa, what do you know about banana cream pie?
That it is one of your favorite foods?
Not one of. My favorite food, full stop. The only thing that I will never, ever, ever turn down under any circumstances whatsoever.
This is why we had to think about doing this episode, because we knew that you would choose this all the time.
Yeah, I think it's kind of unfair. In a way, this might be a trap game, and I am very anxious to see what happens to the bracket and the standings and the championship after this episode, because, oh boy, we may have painted ourselves into a corner here.
Well, in this corner, there's one way out, and we'll save that for the end of the show.
We've backed ourselves into a problem. We're going to have to eat our way out. Liz, we want to know about the history of banana cream pie.
Yeah. So, the history of banana cream pie, it dates back to 6000 BC.
Well, no, not exactly. Banana cream pie does not date back to 6000 BC, but pie itself as like a foodstuff probably is about 8,000 or so years old. There were ancient Egyptians that were making these things that are essentially what we would know now as galettes, which is like a free-form pastry with some sort of filling in it. They were baking these oat and honey galettes over beds of hot coals. And if you want to define pie today, it's any kind of food, savory or sweet, that's either inside of or topped with a crust.
Or on the bottom.
Simple. Yeah, the crust can be on the bottom, like the food is inside of it, or there's a crust on top, or both.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the United States, we usually think about double crusted fruit pies, like you're thinking of, like a latticed apple pie, for example, or a cherry pie.
I was thinking of a key lime pie.
A key lime pie, sure. That's more like what in the UK they would consider a tart, like a single crust pie, something that doesn't have a pastry topping on top of it.
Oh.
Yeah, technically that would be a tart.
Or like, aren't chips or fries like crisps?
Yes, in the UK, the French fries are called chips and potato chips are called crisps.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember we had packets of Walker crisps when we went through when I brought them back from the airport in London.
Oh my goodness. Were those like the turkey flavored ones?
Roast chicken flavored Walker crisps. Those were pretty good, huh?
Were so good. We need more of those.
Yeah, well, we wanted to do them for a segment on the show for Around the World in 80 Bites, but somebody got to them first and ate them all before we could eat them on the show.
Well, I would give them an A+.
Yeah, you know what I would give an A+ to also?
What?
Like almost any kind of pie list. We talked about the definition of a pie. What is a pie? What is a tart? There's another definition in the Merriam-Webster dictionary which says really anything that even looks like a pie, you can consider to be a pie. So something like a mud pie, like a kid would make outside, is called a mud pie.
I love making those.
Yeah, even though you can't eat it, it's a mud pie. Here's another one, Liz. Have you heard of a cow pie?
No.
You don't know what a cow pie is? Cow pies or cow chips are flattened, dried piles of cow poop.
Do you eat it?
No, you don't eat cow droppings. Good grief.
Good grief, Charlie Brown.
You know what you can do with cow chips, though, Liz?
Throw them away?
You can throw them, not away. You can throw them as far as you possibly can because, Alyssa, every year on the third Saturday in April, the folks of Beaver, Oklahoma, a city where cows outnumber people 16-1, gather for this thing that's called the World Championship Cow Chip Throwing Contest, Alyssa.
Can we go there?
Maybe. That would be fascinating. You have to find a cow pie, a cow chip, that is at least 6 inches in diameter to be considered for the competition, and champion winning throws can be more than 150 feet. That's like half of a football field.
We need to go there.
Yeah, so people are rolling around in fields, picking up pieces of dried cow dung, and they are flinging them into the air as far as they possibly can.
I learned a very fancy word for poop.
Yeah, what's that?
It's some scientific word for it. Scat.
That's fancy to you? Scat?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
My science teacher taught me that.
It's very fancy. Shout out to Mr. Mrs.
Mr.
I was thinking Mr. Labar, but it's not.
Miss Zajac.
Shout out to Miss Zajac.
And Miss Zombic.
Liz.
Yeah.
We said that pie dates back to like 6000 BC. The first published recipe specifically for banana cream pie seems to be, as far as I can tell, from 1901. It was in a thing called the Woman's Exchange Cookbook. Do you want to hear the whole recipe? Because it's just a couple of sentences.
Sure.
Okay, here it is. Fill a pie shell, already baked, with sliced bananas and powdered sugar. Put in the oven a few minutes until the fruit softens. Very nice so, but far better to cover the top with whipped cream and serve at once. Flavor with lemon juice. So it's like, make a pie shell, put in bananas and sugar, bake it for like a little bit, and then maybe put some whipped cream or lemon on top. That's not much of a recipe.
Not really.
No, there are no quantities. It assumes that you've already got a pie shell that's baked on hand. Doesn't say how much sugar, how many bananas, how much whipped cream, how much lemon juice, just kind of like, whatever you want.
Whip it together.
Yeah, so I guess you can consider that a banana cream pie. The next evolution was about 5 years later in 1906. There was this thing called the Blue Ribbon Cookbook, and that one called for pouring a prepared custard over sliced bananas inside of a pie shell. And now the version that we know today, the ones with the sort of big fluffy piles of whipped cream on top and maybe some shaved toasted coconut, that was popularized in the 1950s, probably because it looked really good in magazine photos. But also, Liz, because of the invention of things like instant pudding mixes and canned fruits. We've talked a lot about some mid-century, like 1950s space age sort of foods, things like Jell-O and now instant pudding and all of that kind of stuff. And, prepared foods. We're going to talk a little bit about Cool Whip. That was a little bit later in the 1960s. But
or like snack packs.
Yeah, snack packs, sure. There's a lot of those legacy, prepared, produced, manufactured foods that are kind of like still in our lexicon today because they were so popular back then, and they just get into the generations of people that cook and make food for each other and keep getting passed down in recipes. And a lot of it is because they're easy to use and easy to make.
Yeah.
Liz.
Yeah.
Do you know what else was going on in 1901 when the first recipe for banana cream pie was published?
What?
You have no idea?
No.
Okay, well, U.S. Steel became the first billion-dollar corporation under John D. Rockefeller. Have you ever heard of U.S. Steel or John Rockefeller?
No.
Oh, boy. The New York Times, no, not the New York Times. The New York Stock Exchange crashed in the panic of 1901.
No clue what that is either.
The New York Stock Exchange?
Nope.
Where stocks are bought and sold, trading floors,
Nope.
things like that. The world economy
No.
and such. No? Okay. How about this? President McKinley was assassinated.
Who's that?
He was the president of the United States.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was assassinated.
I need to learn some things.
Maybe like some things. The first Nobel Prize was awarded in 1901.
I know what that is.
Yeah, what's the Nobel Prize?
Isn't that for like a peace prize?
Well, there is a Nobel Peace Prize, that's right. There are also Nobel Prizes for achievements in things like science.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you know what it's named after?
Noel?
The Nobel Prize is named after a guy named Nobel. That's right, Alfred Nobel, who invented dynamite, Alyssa.
That's not what I said.
You said Noel.
Yeah.
Why would the Nobel Prize be named after someone named Noel?
I was just like, they kind of like in the gist together.
You thought that they just added an extra letter just because?
Yeah.
Okay. So like if I started calling you Alyssa, just add extra letters to your name?
Yeah. Some girl in my class calls me Elisa.
Alisa?
Alisa.
That's not bad.
That girl's Brooke, to annoy me.
Oh my gosh. Shout out to Brooke.
Yeah. Brooke,
This-
stop it.
Also in 1901, Walgreens was founded. You definitely know Walgreens.
I know what Walgreens is. It's a pharmacy.
Yeah, and how about this? The flamethrower was invented.
Oh, I love those things.
You know what else was going on in 1901, Alyssa? In the early days of moving pictures and vaudeville comedies and such.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, there was this trope of pieing people in the face, like throwing a cream pie into someone's face.
Oh.
You've seen this, right? Like in old stage comedies and cartoons and such.
Yeah, or what Chase did to you at Thanksgiving.
That's right. Chase did it to me on Thanksgiving this year. I was totally unprepared for that. The Three Stooges, I think, the Marx Brothers, all the old black and white comedians would have like pie fights to end some of their shows. These were mostly stage pies. They were made from just whipped cream, not like a real fruit pie or a cream pie with a filling in it. But sometimes they would even use just big mounds of shaving cream because the whipped cream would sort of wilt or deflate or curdle under the hot stage lights.
Oh.
Do you know that one year I was in a talent show in school and your Uncle Matt was in the show with me, and as part of the act, he hit me in the face with a shaving cream pie.
Really?
Yeah, I absolutely hated it. There is video of this somewhere. I'm sure that he has it. But the shaving cream got in my eyes and it stung and I could taste it in my mouth. It was disgusting. And I had to like stand there and smile with the shaving cream all over my face while everyone laughed, and then they pulled us off stage.
Did you cry off stage?
I did not cry. I was like in middle school.
I would have cried.
I bet.
If it hurt, I would cry.
I know when you and your brother cry when you play the pie face game and you lose, that one where you put like the whipped cream on the little hand and turn the crank on the side. That's kind of the same thing.
Well, that's just because it gets very aggressive in our house. Like the
yeah, I
pie
can
face
believe
game.
that for sure.
What's that word called? Not aggressive, like...
Competitive.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of you and your brother, did you know that National Banana Cream Pie Day is March 2nd every year?
That's Chase's birthday.
That's right. Today's my birthday. March 2nd, National Banana Cream Pie Day is also Chase's birthday. And you know who else's birthday it is?
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss. That's right. It's Dr. Seuss Day. Did you know there's a Cat in the Hat learning book that's called Happy Pie Day to You?
Isn't pie, like, scientific?
Mathematical, yes. And in fact, that book is celebrating Pi Day, which is March 14th, and it tries to teach kids how to use math to measure circles. Pi is a ratio.
We're learning about ratios.
That's good. I looked online and it seems like there should be a Dr. Seuss pie, all of the art in the Dr. Seuss books. And for example, at Seuss Land at Universal Studios, all of that looks like there should be a bunch of pastries or confections or cream pies all over the place. But
yeah,
as far as I could tell, there was only one recipe online for a Dr. Seuss pie. And it was just a prepared crust with a blue Jell-O filling in it with a little bit of whipped cream on top. And it looked kind of gross, honestly.
Ew.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed by that.
I think Dr. Seuss pie should be cherries.
Uh-huh.
Like a cherry, instead of a banana cream pie, like a cherry mixed with a Cool Whip.
Oh, that would be nice.
And then you smear it on 1/3. And then the center, it's just a strip of regular Cool Whip.
Uh-huh.
And then on the other side is a blue Jell-O mixed with Kool-Aid powder and a little bit of water.
Yikes.
Blue Kool-Aid powder.
So it's blue, Kool-Aid powder and water.
And Jell-O.
And Jell-O. So it's like blue Kool-Aid Jell-O, and then Cool Whip, and then cherries.
Yeah.
So it's like red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
That would be like a 4th of July pie.
Yeah.
And Dr. Seuss would come up with a funny name for it, right?
So the 4th of July pie mixed into the dye, singing with sigh.
Well, that certainly rhymed.
Yeah.
Hey, what kind of crust would you have on that pie? Would you have like a graham cracker crust that's like crushed up graham crackers and butter mixed together and smushed into the pie tin? Or would you make like a doughy pastry pie crust like you'd get on a traditional apple pie?
Definitely graham cracker.
Yeah, graham cracker, I think, is an interesting type of pie crust because it's much easier to make for sure. It's made from already existing ingredients. If you're making a pastry crust, you have to make a dough, and pie dough for pie crusts is like finicky at best. It's very difficult to make. It's hard to get it to be sort of that flaky laminated texture, light and airy, but also in the form of the pie. It can tear pretty easily. It's hard to work up the sides. There's a lot of challenges with pastry pie crusts, but still, of course, it has applications. Most fruit pies, for example, I think, with the exception of the one we're talking about today, the banana cream pie, benefit from the flaky, buttery texture of that pastry pie crust.
Yeah.
Do you like apple pie, Liz, with the pastry pie crust?
Not really.
Not really? You don't like sort of the buttery, crackery, slightly salty pie crust and then the gooey, caramelly apples on top of it, very sweet, sometimes cinnamony, how they play together?
Not really.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Do you like pumpkin pie?
You know what? I had pumpkin pie this year. I don't like it very much because as we talked about in the episodes around Halloween and pumpkin pie spice and the pumpkin spice latte, I'm not crazy about the texture of pumpkin, especially canned pumpkin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think if you're going to have a pumpkin pie, it's better to just have a sweet potato pie, which usually uses the same flavorings, and I think the texture is better.
Really?
Yeah, so put me on team sweet potato pie and not team pumpkin pie.
I like the sweet potato casserole you guys make.
Oh, yeah, the one Mom makes. That's really excellent. Anything with marshmallows on top of it is going to be A-okay in my book.
Yeah.
And I think, Liz, if you were going to have a pumpkin pie or a sweet potato pie, both of those would benefit from a graham cracker crust. I think the depth of flavor in the graham crackers is a little bit better for that application. Did you know that the graham cracker crust was invented by a guy named Monroe Boston Strauss, Alyssa, and he was a bit of a pie celebrity.
A pie celebrity?
Yeah, in fact, he was known as the Pie King.
The Pie King?
The Pie King. He invented the graham cracker pie crust. He also invented a thing called the chiffon pie. Do you know what a chiffon pie is?
No.
It's a pie that has a very light and fluffy and airy filling, and it's called that because it's comparable to chiffon fabric, a very lightweight woven fabric, like a microscopic mesh almost.
Oh.
Yeah, the way you make a chiffon pie is by folding a meringue into whatever filling you have. So like in a cream pie, sometimes you will fold cream or like whipped cream of some sort into the fruit filling, but in a chiffon pie, you make a meringue first and then you fold that in and it gets it very, very light and airy. He also, Alyssa, invented a thing called the black bottom pie. Do you know what that is?
Nope.
It's a pie that inside, before you put the filling in, has a small layer of chocolate on the bottom, which is why it's called a black bottom pie.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Here's an interesting thing about graham cracker crusts, and all pie crusts in general. They're very fragile. And I was reminded of what Mary Poppins says in the movie. She talked about a thing called a pie crust promise. Do you know what that is?
Nope.
Something that's easily made and also easily broken.
I've never watched Mary Poppins.
What?
Yeah.
How have you never watched Mary Poppins?
I know that she floats from the sky with an umbrella.
That's right. You remember in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when Yondu was like, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all?
I haven't watched that either.
Oh my gosh, what are we even doing? Why are we doing this show when you should be catching up on all of the canonical properties that you've missed?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Liz.
I've never watched Star Trek. I've never watched Guardians of the Galaxy. I've never watched Kim Possible.
You go from Star Trek to Guardians of the Galaxy right straight to Kim Possible, huh?
I've never watched Mary Poppins. I've never watched Winter Wonderland.
What's Winter Wonderland?
Or
White Christmas?
A Wonderful Life.
Wonderful.
White
Oh my
Christmas.
gosh, it's A Wonderful Life. You missed it again this year.
Um,
Hey, do you know before we did this show, your Uncle Matt had a podcast that I occasionally was on, and it was called First Time, Long Time, and it was where we took very famous classic movies and we watched them with someone that had never seen them before.
I should be on that.
You would be the guest on every single episode because you've never seen anything, apparently.
Yeah, I guess I live under a rock, you could say.
What kind of rock?
One of those, like, pink ones that look like Himalayan salt.
You live under a Himalayan salt lamp.
Yeah.
What's it like? What's it like under there?
It gets very hot.
Because the lamp is plugged in?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And but it smells very nice. It smells like a rose petal Yankee candle.
Welcome back to Alyssa's Candlecast, everyone.
Welcome back to the Candlecast.
Hey, do you think there's a banana-scented candle?
I don't know, but maybe we'll have to get we should make a banana cream pie candle.
Banana cream pie candle, that would be nice. Do you remember I guess you don't remember because you're way too young for this, but before the King Kong ride that's at Universal Studios now, there was an older King Kong ride, original to the park, called Kongfrontation. And in that ride, when you're in a hanging cable car, you are confronted by King Kong, and when he growls at you, when he roars at your car, his breath smelled like bananas.
Ew.
Yeah, there was banana-scented King Kong breath on the ride. That's so good.
I love the part where he, on the new ride, where he, spits or screams and it, flares water at you.
Oh, yeah, the big roar that kind of sprays you. I think, every ride at Universal Studios is required to have a spritz of water at some point.
But I like that
it's
because
intrusive.
You've been walking around the parks all day, you're getting sweaty, then you just,
And then you have a nice little splash of water to cool you down. That's nice.
Yeah.
You know what else is nice?
What?
A banana. You want to talk? Do you want to talk about the history of bananas really fast?
Sure.
It's going to have to be fast because legitimately we could do an entire banana cast where we just every single week talked about bananas and the sordid history of that fruit. It is wild what has happened in the history of bananas. But here's the thing. The word banana itself possibly derives from some old West African dialects, which again itself evolved from the Arabic word for, Alyssa, fingertip.
Fingertip.
Yeah, because a banana looks like a finger. And indeed, a bunch of bananas on a banana plant is called a hand of bananas. And a single banana is a...
fingertip.
A finger.
Does this look like a banana to you?
Well, I mean, that wouldn't be a very appetizing banana. You have small hands. But a banana is a very, very popular fruit around the world, Alyssa. It's actually a berry, in fact. Did you know that?
How is it Oh!
Yeah, it's a berry. That's right. There are more than 100 billion bananas eaten every year. It is the fourth most popular agricultural product. Americans alone eat 27 pounds of bananas each every year.
Do monkeys and orangutans eat more?
You know, I didn't ask them. There weren't any around when I was compiling the research for this episode. The next time I see an orangutan, I will ask it how many bananas it eats.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Most Americans, the non-orangutan variety, are eating bananas mostly at home, mostly for breakfast. They are, in fact, the single most sold item at Walmart. Can you believe that?
Are they just good at Walmart?
I mean, I just think they're inexpensive, and people that go to Walmart to shop buy a lot of bananas there, I guess, if they're buying food.
Yeah, we'll buy one for our pet monkey.
We don't have a pet monkey.
We have a Chase.
Chase doesn't eat bananas, even though they are healthy foods. You know, I think he did eat bananas when he was very small, and then he stopped.
Oh, yeah, and he would, mush them into his nose.
Oh, yeah, that was disgusting. Liz, I have it on very good authority from a website called southfloridareporter.com that more songs have been written about the banana than any other fruit.
About people write songs about bananas?
People write songs about bananas. The only one that I can think of, the only one that springs to mind is the Banana Boat song by Harry Belafonte. Day-o. That one.
There's one more.
Yeah, what is it?
Apples and bananas.
Oh, yeah, sure. There you go. I mean, that's also a song about apples, but...
Opals and bananas.
But bananas, too. So the banana has at least two songs that we know. Here's an interesting thing that ties back to our show, in fact. A lot of the popularity of bananas in present day we owe to a guy named Jules Verne. Do you know who Jules Verne is?
Nope.
Jules Verne is an author. He wrote very many books that you would know about, including one called Around the World in 80 Days.
Around the World in 80 Bites.
Hey, that sounds like a segment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Verne included very detailed descriptions of bananas in that story because at the time when it was published in 1872, most Europeans had never had any bananas. They had never even seen any bananas. They were just getting around the world.
Whoa.
Yeah, and in fact, Americans didn't start eating bananas until around the same time after the Civil War because they had just recently been cultivated in the Caribbean after spreading over to the New World from New Guinea and other parts of South Asia.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a dark history behind bananas, especially. In places where there were slaves, bananas were grown as shade plants on plantations because they had very big leaves, and all the excess bananas were fed to the slaves because they were so cheap and plentiful. And then, of course, there's the term Banana Republic. Have you heard that before?
I've heard, oh yeah, isn't that like a clothing store?
Yeah, we know it today as a clothing store. If you want to dress like business casual, you go to Banana Republic. But in a 1904 short story called The Admiral, written by the author O. Henry about his time in Honduras, the term was used as a pejorative to denigrate tropical agrarian nations that had been plundered by large fruit companies that were looking for ways to grow more bananas more cheaply for export markets. In fact, there were stories of countries being mostly overtaken and plunged into violence by, like, the United Fruit Company, for example, because it wanted warmer climates to grow bananas in so that it could sell them more cheaply back at home in places like the United States.
That was a lot.
Yeah, I know. It is a lot. There is a ripe history. Do you see what I did there? Ripe history?
That's not funny.
Because bananas ripen.
That's not funny.
Yeah, well, there's a ripe history of like death and despair and conquest behind the thing that we now call nature's smile, the banana.
The banana.
Yeah, and you can see this legacy even today. Bananas are cheap still, Alyssa. They retail for usually less than like $1 a pound, despite the fact that they're being grown thousands of miles away from where they're consumed, and they have to be shipped all across the world, and very carefully too, because the bananas that we eat today are very fragile. The flesh is very fragile inside the peel. And so there are like special considerations, special logistical considerations that have to be taken into account when you ship a banana across an ocean for somebody to buy for 89 cents at Walmart.
Oh, today we learned about stuff being shipped across the ocean.
Yeah, what was that?
It was something about oil being spilled.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
And it was like the Exxon spill.
The Exxon Valdez oil spill?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
The crude oil.
Yeah, that's no good.
11 million gallons.
Does that sound like a lot to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. You know what sounds like a lot, Alyssa?
What?
The number 17,000. Do you know why that's an important number?
Why?
Because there is a place in Mecca, California, about an hour south of Palm Springs. It's called the International Banana Club Museum.
Dada.
Yeah?
Do you know what sounds old to me?
What's that?
You. But on ding.
Very good.
I had to sneak an old joke in here today.
Yeah, thanks. It wouldn't be a show without you telling me how old I am, especially on my birthday, a day on which I am actively growing older. I mean, I'm actively growing older on every day. This is just the one that we count. So I said 17,000, Alyssa, because that is how many banana-related exhibits are at the International Banana Club Museum in Mecca, California.
What a surprise.
What a surprise. Listen, I'm going to Palm Springs in May, so I might have to make a slight detour to the Banana Club Museum, the International Banana Club Museum. I don't know. You got to talk to your mom about that.
I've ever since that Good Luck Charlie video, I want to go to Palm Springs so bad.
Do you know what's in Palm Springs?
What?
Lots of golf courses and lots of elderly people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And that makes you want to go there?
But it's going to be warm, and all the elderly people are going to love me since I'm little.
That's right. You know what else elderly people love?
Cheeks. Squishing your cheeks.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking specifically of a song, Alyssa, that old people like. It's a song called Yes, We Have No Bananas. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Yes, we have no bananas. We have no bananas today. No?
That was in my dream once. I was at this big casino, and it flooded all the way to the top. And then the next day there was no water, and me and Grammy swam down the stairs, and we met a bunch of these elderly people, and they were singing that song.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Alyssa's Dream Journal.
I remember that dream so well.
A recurring segment on Alyssa's Candlecast.
Because I jumped off the balcony onto a helicopter and I met Uncle Brian in there.
Wow, that was a really vivid dream that you had, wasn't it?
Uh-huh. Because I told it so many times to Mama.
You know, it's funny that you said you were in a big casino because that's the name of a song by Jimmy Eat World, a band that we've talked about on the show before.
A big casino.
Yeah, remember that for later. So, Yes, We Have No Bananas was a #1 hit song in 1923, and it was inspired, the writer said, by an immigrant fruit vendor that was set up across the street from the hotel that the songwriter was staying at. And when these guys would talk to each other, the fruit vendor would start every sentence, even the negative ones, no matter what he was saying, with the word yes. And the songwriter asked him one day, do you have bananas? And he said, yes, we have no bananas. There is a rumor, Alyssa, that bananas might be going extinct soon. Have you heard this?
What?
Yeah, can you believe it?
No.
No, I don't either. And in fact, Snopes.com, the rumor debunking website, says this claim is a bit misleading, although not entirely untrue. The banana that we eat today, the ones that you can find at Walmart for like 89 cents a pound, the ones that are in every grocery store, is a variety called the Cavendish banana. It's named for a guy named Duke William George Spencer Cavendish. It's the one type of banana that everybody knows. It's all over the world. Think about it this way. When you go into a grocery store list, when you go to like the shop right down the street, you walk into the produce section, there's a big table full of all different varieties of apples, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's Honey Crisps and Cosmic Crisps and Pink Ladies and Gala Apples and Red Delicious and Golden Delicious and Granny Smith. You can probably name a dozen different types of apples, right?
Yeah. My favorite is these red ones that we had in Maine.
Oh, yeah, those were really good. The ones you picked off the trees at the orchard right down the street from the camp.
I forget what they were called, but they were so good.
I don't know either, but those were really nice. They might have been like maybe a Fuji apple. I don't know. They were good. Anyway, think about all those different types of apples that you can choose, and now think about how many different types of bananas you see at a grocery store.
They all look the same, though.
Yeah, they all look the same because they are the same. There are no different varietals of bananas that you see at grocery stores because bananas are, like we said earlier, fragile fruits. They are threatened by a type of soil fungus that pesticides, generally speaking, cannot control, and for which some varieties of bananas have slim to nothing in the way of natural defenses, because here's an interesting thing about the Cavendish banana, Alyssa.
What?
The Cavendish banana was selected for growth specifically because it was somewhat resilient to the soil fungus, the Panama disease, that wiped out some earlier types of bananas that we used to eat. And so those Cavendish bananas that we have now were actually really like kind of a mutant variety of banana. They didn't have any seeds, Alyssa, which means they couldn't reproduce naturally like other fruits. Every banana plant, and they're banana plants, not banana trees, they're actually giant herbs, that we have now are made from cuttings of old trees, which means that every banana you eat, this is a little bit science fiction-y back to Jules Verne, Alyssa, every banana that you eat is a clone of another banana.
That's why they all look the same.
It's like Attack of the Clones. Here's the other thing, though. The lack of genetic diversity in these bananas means that they haven't evolved or mutated much anymore, and they have trouble protecting themselves. And if there was another version of Panama disease that threatened these Cavendish bananas, it's possible that they might go extinct too, and it's not unprecedented, Alyssa.
Wow.
There was an earlier version of bananas that mostly were eaten up until the 1950s or 60s, and they were called the Gros Michel, or the Big Mike banana. They were the dominant eating banana, but they succumbed to an earlier version of the Panama disease fungus. And in fact, Alyssa, this near extinction of the Big Mike banana, the Gros Michel, might be the reason that the fruit vendor had no bananas.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, not really, because that song was written in 1923, and the Panama disease didn't really wipe out the Gros Michel until like 1940, 1950, up to the 60s. But, you know, it's a nice...
No need to get scientific here.
It's a nice story.
Let me live my moment.
Are you living your moment right now with the Big Mike banana?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Hey, have you ever had a banana-flavored candy of any kind, Alyssa?
Yes, and they taste gross.
Oh, you think they taste gross?
Yeah.
Well, then you would not have liked the Gros Michel, because the chances are pretty good you've had a banana. The chances are only slightly less good that you've had a banana-flavored candy, like a Laffy Taffy or a Runt. Banana Runts, not really a hot take here, but banana Runts are the best Runts, and it's not even close among all the other fruit types. You can buy them in like 5-pound bags of just banana Runts. They're wonderful, I think.
Really?
Yeah, you don't like them, but you might have noticed they don't taste like the bananas that you eat out of hand, the Cavendish that you get at the grocery store.
No.
No, and that's because candy banana flavor comes from a thing called an ester or a flavor compound. This one in particular is called isoamyl acetate.
Isoamyl acetate.
Close. If you smell this fruit ester, this food ester, Alyssa, it smells just like bananas. And here's the interesting thing. It tastes more like that older, near extinct version, the Gros Michel, than the newer, more popular Cavendish banana. Or rather, in fact, the Cavendish bananas taste less like bananas than the Gros Michel did, if that makes sense.
Really?
Yeah, those older versions of bananas had more naturally occurring banana flavor. The Cavendish is a little bit more subtle.
Subtle.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this is that that flavor compound, the isoamyl acetate, is apparent in some other foods as well, mostly in drinks. Some people say they can taste the banana flavor in Coors Light beer.
Well, I've never tried that, so I can't say.
No, of course not. And you've never tried this either, but I think that Jack Daniel's whiskey smells a lot like banana runts. I think it's got some of that isoamyl acetate flavor compound in it.
I need to try this again. Isoamyl acetate.
Very good. You know, I once told a whiskey connoisseur, shout out to Mr. J.
Mr. J!
Yeah, I once told him that when I smelled certain whiskeys, I could smell banana runts. And he ran home and got some Jack Daniels and smelled it and got very angry that I ruined some whiskeys for him by making him think that they smell like bananas.
Dada.
I didn't do it on purpose. It was just a funny thing that happened.
Oh.
Here's something else that's funny. Cool Whip, Alyssa, is funny to me.
I love Cool.
Yeah, I love Cool Whip too. And guess what?
What?
Not everybody does. There are a lot of people that are very angry about the very existence of Cool Whip.
What?
Yeah, because Cool Whip is imitation whipped cream. It's commonly referred to as a whipped topping. And in fact, it's even a bit of a misnomer to call Cool Whip imitation whipped cream because it's something else entirely. It's not even really trying to be whipped cream. It's like, I don't know, something ethereal, something else.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can use it as a replacement for whipped cream as a topping. Anything that you would put whipped cream on, you can probably put Cool Whip on. But the miracle of the science that goes into aerating oil and adding flavors to it so that you get something as light and fluffy and stable as Cool Whip it's a miracle of modern technology and science, really.
I like Cool Whip a little bit more because it's like on whipped cream, on hot cocoa, it melts too fast.
And a lot of that is because of the efforts of a guy in 1966, a food scientist named Dr. William A. Mitchell. He held more than 70 different patents, Alyssa. He also invented Tang and Pop Rocks and coincidentally Quick-Set Jell-O, which is a cousin of the instant Jell-O pudding that's in our banana cream pie.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that amazing? This one guy invented all of those foods.
I
Cool
love
Whip,
Pop
Tang,
Rocks.
Pop Rocks, instant Jell-O.
I love Pop Rocks.
We're going to do a show with Pop Rocks. There's an interesting food myth that was tested on Mythbusters that was sort of like an urban legend for a long time that we're going to do. Everybody listening to the show is immediately going to know what I'm talking about. Do you, Alyssa, know what I'm talking about? The Pop Rocks myth.
No, but
well, we'll
Dad,
save that for another time. Yes.
do you chew your Pop Rocks?
Do I chew my Pop Rocks? Wow. What a question.
Like, do you bite, chew, swallow, or do you let them pop, then bite, then chew, then swallow?
So if I have an entire packet of Pop Rocks, the first batch that I pour into my mouth, I'm just going to let sit on my tongue so that they pop, and so I get the sensation, and then they'll just dissolve and I can swallow them. And then the second batch, I will let dissolve like halfway and then chew them to get that extra sensation of them popping against my teeth.
That's what I do.
Yeah. And then, of course, the third batch, like the end of the bag, I will just dump in and chew all at once so that they kind of like grind into a powder. It's really fun. You get all of it together.
Because I was eating Pop Rocks with my friends, and they like dumped the whole thing in and started chewing them. I got so...
Liz,
What?
did you know that Cool Whip is the best-selling whip topping in the entire country? The can of Ready Whip that we usually use, like the spray whipped cream, that's number 2.
Wow.
Yeah, there's more Cool Whip eaten in this country than real whipped cream, regardless of what's in it.
That's cool.
And a lot of those types of manufactured dessert toppings, like we said, are part of cream pies, like the one that we made today. And there's lots of different styles of recipes for banana cream pies that you can make, like we said, dating back all the way to 1901. There's a website called Preppy Kitchen with a guy named John Cannell who also has a YouTube channel. He does like a classic pastry pie crust with a custardy vanilla pudding filling and then fresh bananas inside. Chris Morocco from Bon Appetit adds, this is interesting, chopped peanuts to the crust, and then he also sprinkles them on top of the pie for like a salty, nutty hit. Yeah, that's pretty good. Bananas and peanuts, I think, go pretty well together, like the Elvis Presley peanut butter and banana sandwiches that we talked about.
Or the peanut butter pickle sandwich.
Yes, the poverty special peanut butter and pickle sandwich. I do like those quite a bit.
They're not as bad as I thought they would be.
That was like the first thing that I ate during the COVID lockdown when I was afraid that we weren't going to be able to get more groceries. I made myself a peanut butter and pickle sandwich. It was good.
Julian comes up with the best weird food combinations.
Oh, like the peanut butter and jelly hot dog.
That was not that good.
You know what? It wasn't bad, though.
And then what's another one? He has good ones. Like, again, peanut butter pickle sandwich.
Yeah, he has lots of different versions of junk foods that we love to eat. And you know what, Liz? Our British friends across the pond that we brought up earlier when we were talking about the festive fixtures and the big fat quiz of the year, they eat a version of banana cream pie that they call banaffy pie, which is a banana pie with toffee filling as well.
What's toffee?
Toffee is sort of like a tangy, butterscotchy caramel almost.
Is it like coffee?
It's like a hard caramel.
Oh.
And you know what? That's probably the favorite version of banana cream pie that they have over in the UK. And you know what? My favorite part of this show is, Liz.
What?
Alyssa reads the ingredients.
Alyssa loves the ingredients.
I'm going to help you with this one because the ingredients list is like half a page long. Because we have in this pie, and I'll just say what the recipe is right now. It is a pre-made Keebler brand graham cracker crust. It is a box of Jell-O banana cream instant pudding mix. It is a tub of Cool Whip, and then of course a banana. The ingredients in a banana is a banana, so we don't have to worry about that. Do you want to do the graham cracker crust, the banana cream instant pudding, or the Cool Whip?
Okay, right here.
Why don't you start with the graham cracker crust, and then I'll do the banana cream instant pudding and the Cool Whip.
And for the graham cracker crust, enriched flour, wheat flour, niacin, reduced iron, vitamin B1, thiamine mononitrate, vitamin B2, riboflavin, folic acid, palm kernel oil with TBHQ for freshness, sugar, graham flour, corn syrup, molasses, contains 2% or less of salt, leavening, baking soda, sodium acid. Oh goodness, what is that?
Pyrophosphate.
Pyrophosphate, monocalcium phosphate, malt extract, soy lecithin.
Okay, good job. So there's a lot of stuff in that. It's mostly just graham crackers that are mixed up and then smushed together with some binders.
Yeah.
Here's what's in Jell-O banana cream instant pudding. It is, Liz, sugar, dextrose, modified cornstarch, contains less than 2% of disodium phosphate, tetrasodium pyrophosphate, salt, artificial color, mono and diglycerides, natural and artificial flavor, yellow 5 and yellow 6, and then of course Cool Whip, the miracle of modern science, which, Alyssa, is mostly water to start with.
Really?
Yeah, and then there's corn syrup after that, which is sugar, high fructose corn syrup, which is more sugar, hydrogenated vegetable oil, which is coconut and palm kernel oils, skim milk, and then it contains less than 2% of light cream, sodium caseinate from milk, natural and artificial flavors, xanthan and guar gums, modified food starch, polysorbate 60, sorbitan monostearate, sodium pyrophosphate, and beta-carotene for color.
And then banana.
And then, of course, a banana. So, Liz,
What?
there is a lot of stuff in this food product that we have made that is not exactly food.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you mix a bunch of things together from prepackaged, manufactured ingredients. But you know what?
What?
Regardless of all of that,
It's delicious.
it's delicious, and it's time to get to the rules of the game. Junk Feud is a culinary clash to see which treat will be crowned the undisputed champion of snacks. It's a King of the Mountain style battle in which the reigning champ takes on a new challenger each week to see which snack reigns supreme. And Alyssa,
What?
our reigning defending undisputed champion of snacks is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Liz, we took a brief break from the competition for the Holiday Snacktacular, where, if you recall, Bold Chex Mix was able to capture the Kringle Cup. But the main show is back now. CTC, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, is still the reigning defending undisputed champion of snacks, but it's got a problem today, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Because it is running into my grandmother's recipe for banana cream pie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Graham cracker pie crust, instant banana cream pudding with, instead of 2 cups of milk, 1 cup of milk and 1 cup of sour cream. And then the crust, of course, lined with sliced bananas, the pudding mix poured in, topped with Cool Whip, set in the fridge. That's it. It's very simple and it's perfect.
Yep.
And we do have an additional challenger today, Alyssa.
We do.
And this is just for context and because I don't think you've ever had them. We have banana cream pie pudding snack pack cups.
I know what snack packs are, but I've never had these.
Yeah, this was like a staple of school lunches growing up. It's just not a thing that you've ever had, but I had one of these like in my lunchbox for elementary school like every day. They're so good. And you know what, Liz?
What?
It's crunch time.
Crunch time.
We rate our snacks using a tier list from sprinkles to fun dip, so snacks can be graded A, B, C, D, or F. The very best treats earn the elusive S tier ranking. The following contest is scheduled for 1 serving.
1 serving.
And is for the undisputed championship of junk food lists.
Junk food.
Because we had to take it out of the fridge, we tried the banana cream pie before we came up to record the show.
Yeah.
And walk me through your experience eating this banana cream pie, please.
Well, the packaging was in our silverware containers.
Yeah, we just put it on like a dessert plate with a dessert fork and a napkin, and it comes out of one of those little foil pie tins that the pre-baked pie crust is inside. So it's fairly simple. There's nothing going on there. It's just semi-homemade, as Sarah Lee's show would say.
And then the smelled like bananas.
It smells like bananas, and it smells in a way a bit like a combination of Cavendish bananas, which we have cut up and sliced and put into the crust, but then also the artificial banana flavor, because that's the flavor that's inside the banana pudding mix. So tell me about the banana cream pie. What are the experiences that you have? What is the like sensation of eating it? Tell me about the texture, the flavor, the heterogeneity of the different types of materials that are in it. It just feels weird to say materials about food, but tell me about what you thought of the banana cream pie.
It was a delightful, airy, tasty, just smooth, a little like crunch when you got to the crust.
Yeah, it's a very interesting eating experience because you have the very light and airy and fluffy Cool Whip on top. Then you have a slightly more dense, very smooth, very creamy pudding in the middle. You have a little bit of that smush from the sliced bananas resting on top of the crust. And then you have the crunch and the toasty graham flavor and like a little tiny hint of salt in the graham cracker crust. It's incredible. It's excellent.
Excelente.
Yeah. And I would say, Alyssa.
What?
This pie is bananas. Bananas. Do you know what that's from?
Nope.
No. Oh my
wait.
goodness.
Wait, do it again.
This
In
pie
the voice.
is bananas. Bananas.
Is it something from like, I don't know, I imagine it from like Phineas and Ferb.
Oh, I wish it was from Phineas and Ferb. No, it's nothing as exciting as that. The story behind that is it's from a song list called Holla Back Girl by Gwen Stefani, who you know.
Ain't no holla back
Yeah,
girl.
see, you know that song. The only reason that I remember this and that song at all, because it's not really in the cultural zeitgeist anymore, is that I was a bartender for a while and I worked a lunch shift during the week, which was nice because it was almost like a real 9-to-5 kind of job. And I never made any money doing it, but it was fun. It was relaxing. I watched like Phillies day games. I got to hang out with my friends. I never had to make any drinks that were more complicated than like a Long Island iced tea. In the mornings, it was usually me and a girl named Cheryl that would open up the bar. So we would get in at 9 o'clock. And since the television was on the sports channels all day long, Cheryl got to pick what we watched in the mornings because she couldn't have cared less about sports. So every morning she would turn on VH1 and we would watch music videos while we like cut fruit and stocked the bar and got ice and things like that. And there were 2 videos that were on at that time, like on repeat. And one was the Dave Matthews Band, American Baby. And the other one was Gwen Stefani's Holla Back Girl. So like every morning I would hear Holla Back Girl like 3 or 4 times.
Then who said bananas?
Gwen Stefani in the song Holla Back Girl.
Isn't Gwen Stefani on The Voice now?
Yes, that's how you know her. I know her from when she was the lead singer of a punk band called No Doubt, which you have no cultural context for whatsoever. And you know her as the girl that's married to Blake Shelton that's on The Voice.
Did you know that Blake Shelton is quitting The Voice?
I didn't know that.
And now that he's leaving, Gwen Stefani has no actual interest in being on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, listen, the couple that slays together stays together. How about that?
You can say that.
Yeah, thanks. I have the mark of approval from the 6th grader.
Yeah.
So, obviously, banana cream pie, amazing. My favorite food of all time. Let's try this banana cream pie snack pack, which is, as you can see it here, 2 layers of pudding. There's a sort of a white, probably vanilla cream on the top, and then a yellower, probably banana at the bottom. I'm going to try this.
And of course, you gave us the plastic spoons to relive our school lunch.
That's right, to recreate the full experience of eating a school lunch. I brought plastic spoons for us. So the white pudding on top actually tastes a little bit like bananas also, and I'm going to get some of the yellow at the bottom. It also tastes like bananas. So I think this is the same pudding, just colored differently. You don't look like you like it very much.
Not really.
Yeah, so here's an interesting thing. The way that we make the pie, by substituting half of the milk with sour cream, gives the banana cream pie more body and more fullness and more richness, and it also gives it that slight acidic tang of sour cream. This doesn't have that at all. This is just pure sugar. It's just sweet and gelatinous. It's not bad, but it's one note. The lack of a crust is really hurting it in the texture category, and the fact that it's just a single density all the way through, just one pudding instead of layers of Cool Whip and pudding and bananas and pie is also not great. You remember we talked about the eating experience and palate fatigue. If I had to eat too much of this, I would definitely get palate fatigue, I think.
Same.
Yeah, so you know what we should do then, Liz?
What?
Let's hit the bliss point for these snacks. I want to know what you think. From sprinkles to fun dip, where do you rate? Let's do the snack pack first.
Maybe like a C.
Yeah, you know what? I would say that too. I would say this is like a C- for me. I think we're right in the same ballpark here. You'll say C, I'll say C-. This is slightly below average. The pudding texture is not great. The flavor doesn't really pop. It's sort of like a middling sort of banana flavor.
I'd much rather have the chocolate one.
Yeah, I think the chocolate snack pack is even better, or the chocolate and vanilla mix. Superior, I would say as well. I'm not even going to finish this. But
me either.
Alyssa.
What?
From sprinkles to fun dip, my birthday banana cream pie. You know what I'm going to give this.
Yeah.
I'm giving it an S tier ranking. Alyssa, for me, this is heaven.
I'll probably give it an A+.
Do you know why I say for me this is heaven?
Why?
That's the name of a Jimmy Eat World song.
I am about to leave. Dad, you are making too many dad jokes.
That's not a joke. That's legitimately the name of a song. It's really a very beautiful song. It's sort of like a piano rock song, like a ballad almost. It's great.
I mean, first the ripe joke, then
that was a good one, though.
BANANAS.
Also good.
You're so old, Dada.
So, yeah, listen, S tier ranking for me. You say A+. Now we have to decide. And this is dangerous territory we're treading into here, because I think we may be unleashing a beast on this show, and we may be breaking the format. Because if banana cream pie today defeats Cinnamon Toast Crunch, there may be no going back. It may never look back. I can't think of a single thing that I would rather eat than a banana cream pie. So every week it's going to be challenging for me to come up with a way to figure out who could possibly take down the king. So I'm saying, Liz, in my mind, banana cream pie is the new champion, but I need to know if you think that it can take down Cinnamon Toast Crunch and what the implications of that would be.
Agreed. But I think we need to limit ourselves. Like, if it's winning for more than, like, a long time, I think we need to switch it up.
Well, yeah, that's why we're going to break the show down into seasons, just as a sort of like get out of jail free card, break glass in case of emergency, pull the reserve chute kind of thing.
Press the red button, even if it says don't press it.
That's right. So, hey, does that mean what I think that it means then?
Yep.
Yes! Yes! Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to Banana Cream Pie, your winner and new reigning defending undisputed champion of junk food, Banana Cream Pie. Happy birthday
to you.
To me. Oh, that makes me so happy. What a world we live in.
What a wonderful world.
What a wonderful world. Liz, you know what else is wonderful?
The Oreo rule.
The Oreo rule. We don't have any new Oreos now. We are waiting for the mad geniuses at Mondelez International Foods to come up with something new. But, Liz, we have to talk about this because something interesting came up. Please, go ahead.
So we were taking my friend Adelia
Friend of the show, Adelia.
to basketball practice.
Of course.
And she came in the car. She brought a napkin with like 3 Oreos, and she brought a knife.
And I thought I was going to be stabbed.
I genuinely thought that it was going to be our last day seeing the light. But I go, Adelia, why do you have a knife? And she goes, I am going to, what'd she say? Like,
dissect some Oreos.
Dissect some Oreos. And I go, how are you going to dissect the Oreo? And she goes, oh, I just don't like the cream inside, so I'm going to take it off. You can have it. I was like, me and my dad looked at each other, and we went crazy. We had no clue how she didn't like it.
I couldn't believe it. This is the first time in history that I've ever seen someone say that they don't like the Oreo cream inside the Oreos. Some people twist an Oreo, eat the cream, and discard the cookie wafers. Adelia opens up the Oreo, scrapes the cream off, and then just shoves it in a napkin and throws it away. Unprecedented.
Like, that's completely unacceptable.
So here's the thing. I thought this, Alyssa, was absolutely bonkers. But then, just last month, I found out that Oreo, the company that makes Oreo, had tweeted a picture of a package of what they called just the wafer Oreos, which is exactly what it sounds like, a package of just Oreo wafer cookies. Now, the internet was up in arms about this. It turned out to be a fake, just a joke, but Twitter wanted it. They wanted packages of just the wafer Oreos, and I think Adelia would too, and I think possibly we might get these at some point in the future.
Those seem kind of like, that could be good.
It could be good. I mean, I can think that maybe we would make an icebox cake with them and some Cool Whip. That would be fantastic.
That would be good for dirt.
Yeah, crushing them up for worms and dirt. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good idea. You know what else is a good idea, Liz?
Will it deep fry?
Yeah, we're going to ask a question that we ask. Each episode, we ask an important question. Can you deep fry this week's snack? Will it deep fry? Liz, do you think you can deep fry banana cream pie?
Probably not.
Probably not, right, but sort of. So here's the thing. We talked about the roots of pie being like free-form pastries that had some sort of filling inside. Well, there are these things called hand pies, Alyssa, which are small pastries that can fit in your hand. Like an empanada, for example, is a type of hand pie. And there are these fried pies that you can get in convenience stores. Hostess makes them with fruit fillings. And there are fried banana pudding pies, which is kind of like a fried banana cream pie, if you can believe it.
Whoa.
Yeah, do you think you would like to have one of those? I think it might be good to try someday.
Maybe.
You know what else is good to try?
The back of the box.
Checking out the back of the box. It's time to check out the back of the box, a weekly segment where we play a little game. Liz, would you like to play a little game?
I would love to play a game.
We talked about Jules Verne already on the show. This week's segment is Around the World in 80 Bites. It's back.
It's back.
On Around the World in 80 Bites, we try snacks from across the
globe, bro.
Across the globe. We try snacks from across the globe. And this week, Liz, we have a couple of snacks from Austria, brought to us by a friend of the show, Jim. We are going to try today something called the Biffy Roll XXL. It's really weird. It's like an on-the-go convenience food hot dog. It's like a salami stick inside of a hollow wheat batter shell, like a wheat cracker. It looks kind of like...
Do people enjoy this in Australia?
I guess. I don't know. It looks like a dried hot dog inside a round cracker. It's weird. And then we're also going to try a thing...
Slim Jim.
Yeah. We're going to try some Austrian Slim Jims. They're called Nabernossi Classic. It's like a dried sausage snack. You ready?
Yeah.
Which one do you want first? I want to try this Biffy roll thing. This thing looks nuts. Look at it. It looks like a hot dog. It's like a package, like a dried hot dog in a package.
That looks kind of weird.
Okay, so it's completely encased. It actually smells like a hot dog too. It looks like a breadstick. It's like a soft, squishy breadstick. It's closed on each side.
I feel like it's just going to be like a hot dog.
I think it's just going to taste like a hot dog, almost like a sausage. Are you ready? I'm going to take a bite from this end. Okay, so you're making a face. It's a bit hard to chew. The roll, it's more like a roll than a cracker. I thought it was going to be like a cracker, but it's not. This is legitimately like a dried out hot dog. It's like a very pale pink, slimy looking sausage inside of, I don't even know, like a 7-Eleven quality hot dog roll. It's not bad. If I was on the go and I needed a snack, probably I would grab one of these at a store and eat it. I wouldn't go out of my way to get them all the time. Undoubtedly, this is not good for me, but it's not terrible. I don't hate it.
I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It does taste like a hot dog. The flavor is there, but the texture is is not exactly right. It's like if you told an artificial intelligence to make a hot dog, but you didn't give it a good prompt. This is maybe what it would come back with. You took another bite.
Took a very small bite.
It's not bad. It's pretty good, I think. It's decent.
I think it would improve. It could improve being a little bit softer.
Yeah, the sausage in the middle is a little bit chewy. I think that's by design. I mean, because it can't be all squishy or else it would get full of bacteria and rot pretty simply. But I don't know, it's not bad. Now let's try these. This is the Nabernossi Classic. There are 2 beef sticks. No, sorry, not beef sticks. 2 pork sticks inside.
I want the bottom one.
You want the bottom? They're both exactly the same. There's a little guy on the packaging. He's giving a peace sign. He doesn't have a nose.
He does.
He does have a nose? Okay. So opening up the package immediately, it doesn't have the burnished.
How'd you get it out of there?
It doesn't have like the dark burnished sheen of a Slim Jim. You can see the
Slim Jim.
You're shaking it around. It's oily. It's greasy like a Slim Jim.
Ew, that's
the texture is off-putting to hold it in my hand for sure.
It looks like an asparagus, but like brown.
It smells oddly sweet. It smells sort of like a sugar-cured bacon.
It does.
Wow, it's very salty.
I like it.
So it's oddly bland. It's not aggressively spiced the way that a Slim Jim is, or really many other prepackaged dried and cured meat snacks that I've had before. It's not bad. It just tastes like a piece of pork, really.
The aftertaste is much better. The first taste, you kind of get like a plasticky.
Yeah, like we said, it's greasy on the outside. Not bad, though.
I'll stick to my beefy roll.
You're going to stick to the beefy roll?
Yeah, I actually really liked it.
Yeah, you're going back for more. I think you might finish that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that Jim brought these to us. They were both good. We liked them both. They arrived here to the United States in excellent condition. And in fact, Alyssa, this podcast should reach you in excellent condition. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. If you've got a question for us, you can write to the address on the label. That's junkfeudpod@gmail.com. Any final thoughts before we take off on my birthday list?
You should definitely try these.
Yeah, seek out the Beefy Roll XXL and the Nabernossi if you have a chance to. If you're ever traveling internationally or you want to just order some online, give it a shot. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's my birthday wish for you is to try some imported meat snacks.
And buy some merch.
Yeah, and buy some merch too. I think that was fun, huh?
Yeah.
It was a pretty good show. And in fact, this podcast contained your recommended daily allowance of fun.
Fun.
For more, go to Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or wherever you choose to be social and find us at Junk Feud Pod. You can stream with us on Twitch, watch fun-sized snack reviews on YouTube, buy merch on TeePublic, and fund us on Patreon at Junk Feud Pod for exclusive bites. And don't forget to catch all the snaction each and every week wherever you listen to podcasts. Until we see you again for Alyssa, I'm Mike.
Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any on ya.
Bye.